In today's video, we're diving deep into geopolitics and international relations to explore 10 countries that want America to fail in 2025. Whether it's due to ideological rivalry, economic competition, or historical grievances, these nations see the decline of American global power as an opportunity to rise or reshape the world order. Let's explore who these countries are and why they're rooting for the fall of the United States. Number 10. Afghanistan. After the U.S. withdrawal in 2021, the Taliban took over Afghanistan, framing it as a victory against American imperialism. In 2025, the Taliban regime remains deeply opposed to U.S. policies, blaming America for decades of war, civilian casualties, and instability. The Taliban wants the world to see America as a defeated superpower whose interventionism failed. American failure enhances the Taliban's legitimacy both domestically and among extremist groups globally. It validates their narrative that resistance to the West leads to victory. The more the U.S. struggles at home or abroad, the stronger the Taliban feels in their ideological mission. Number 9. Cuba. Cuba has been at odds with the United States for over 60 years. Despite some warming of relations during the Obama administration, the U.S. trade embargo and political hostility resumed under Trump and continued with fluctuations through subsequent administrations. In 2025, Cuba still resents American efforts to isolate and destabilize its socialist government. Havana sees American failure as an ideological victory, a validation of socialism over capitalism. Cuba hopes that American decline will reduce U.S. interference in Latin America, enabling Cuba to play a larger role in regional politics and spread its anti-imperialist message to new generations. Number 8. Syria. Syria, led by Bashar al-Assad, has suffered greatly at the hands of American foreign policy. U.S. military interventions, support for opposition forces, and years of economic sanctions have left the Assad regime with deep animosity toward Washington. In 2025, Syria remains firmly aligned with Iran and Russia and sees American failure as crucial to its long-term survival. Without U.S. intervention, Assad can consolidate power, suppress opposition, and rebuild alliances across the Arab world. The regime hopes that with America weakened, Western nations will finally drop their demands for regime change and normalize relations with Damascus. Number 7. Pakistan. Pakistan's relationship with the United States has been a roller coaster full of cooperation, suspicion, and resentment. In 2025, the alliance is shaky at best. Pakistan accuses America of favoritism toward India, interference in its domestic affairs, and drone strikes that violated its sovereignty. As America strengthens ties with India and Israel, Pakistan feels increasingly marginalized. Pakistani leaders quietly root for America's failure on the global stage because it levels the playing field, especially in regional geopolitics. A weakened U.S. presence could shift the balance of power in South Asia, giving Pakistan more space to maneuver diplomatically and militarily, particularly in Kashmir and Afghanistan. Number 6. Turkey. Though a NATO ally on paper, Turkey under President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has increasingly moved away from Western values and alliances. Erdogan has cultivated close ties with Russia and China while promoting a more independent, authoritarian, and Islamic vision for Turkey. Ankara has clashed with the U.S. over issues like Syria, Kurdish militias, arms deals, and F-35 sanctions. In 2025, Turkey views American decline as an opportunity to assert itself as a dominant power in the Middle East and the Mediterranean. Erdogan's ambitions are regional hegemony, and that's far easier to achieve in a world where America's influence is diminished. Number 5. Venezuela. Venezuela, under the leadership of Nicolas Maduro, has become a symbol of anti-American sentiment in Latin America. Accusing the U.S. of economic sabotage, coup attempts, and imperialism, the Maduro regime openly desires the collapse of American influence in the region. In 2025, Venezuela remains an authoritarian state that benefits from alliances with U.S. rivals like Russia, China, and Iran. A faltering United States means less pressure for regime change, fewer sanctions, and more room to build alternative political and economic partnerships. Venezuela's leaders believe that American failure could ignite a wave of leftist revolutions across Latin America, restoring socialist ideals to the region. Number 4. North Korea. North Korea is one of the most isolated regimes in the world, and its survival has always hinged on resisting U.S. influence. In 2025, the Kim Jong-un regime still sees America as its ultimate enemy, blaming it for sanctions, economic hardship, and military threats. North Korea has built its identity around standing up to the United States and portraying itself as a victim of Western aggression. Pyongyang wants America to fail because it would allow the regime to gain more regional leverage, strengthen its nuclear program without interference, and possibly achieve reunification under its own terms. For North Korea, American weakness is a strategic advantage. Number 3. Iran. Iran's opposition to the United States is rooted in decades of hostility, dating back to the 1979 Islamic Revolution. In 2025, this enmity remains as strong as ever. Iranian leaders see America as a destabilizing force in the Middle East, supporting Israel, maintaining military bases across the Gulf, and enforcing economic sanctions. Tehran envisions a Middle East free of American influence, where regional powers like Iran can thrive without interference. The Iranian regime actively supports proxy groups and regional conflicts to counter U.S. influence. Whether through military confrontations, cyber warfare, or diplomatic obstruction, Iran benefits from any American failure in the region. Number 2. Russia. Russia under Vladimir Putin has long considered the United States a geopolitical adversary. The Cold War may have ended, but the rivalry has not. In 2025, Russia continues to wage an aggressive hybrid campaign against the West through cyber attacks, disinformation, and support for anti-Western regimes. Russia views American power as a threat to its own security and influence in Eastern Europe and Central Asia. The Kremlin wants to undermine American credibility globally while strengthening authoritarian alliances. For Russia, a weakened America means fewer NATO threats and more freedom to operate in its sphere of influence. The Ukraine war, sanctions, and NATO expansion have only deepened Moscow's animosity. Number 1. China. Arguably the biggest challenger to American dominance in 2025 is China. Under President Xi Jinping, China has positioned itself as a global superpower rivaling the United States economically, technologically, and militarily. The two nations are locked in an intense competition for influence, particularly in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. China sees America's failure as a path to establishing a new multipolar world order where Beijing, not Washington, sets the rules. From trade wars to the tech race and control of global institutions, China's strategy is clear: surpass America and fill the void it leaves behind. The Chinese government doesn't just want America to fail, they've been actively preparing for that moment. These 10 countries each have different reasons for wanting America to fail in 2025, but their goals often align. They see U.S. decline as a way to reshape the balance of global power, assert their influence, or simply settle old scores. While not all of these countries are openly hostile, their policies, propaganda, and long-term goals suggest they would benefit greatly from a world where America is no longer at the top. Geopolitics is not just about cooperation, it's also about competition. And as this video shows, plenty of players on the world stage are hoping that the American chapter of global dominance is coming to a close.